Descent of the Demon God. By Hanjo Wiolia. Chapter 50. Illusion. Part 1. Inside a dark room. Someone touched a place on the wall with their hand. Wing. The wall cracked to reveal a black safe. Huh. The man who sighed as he looked at the safe was Chun Woo-kyung. He then pressed a password to open it. Beep. 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 When the safe opened, an old cell phone came out. It was a foldable phone from several decades ago. It was one of those phones that had no function other than calling. Turing. Turing. Click. After 2 dial tones, the call was connected. Yes, sorry I was late for work, so I almost missed the call. A voice spoke. Chun Woo-kyung replied with an expressionless face. You couldn't help it, so it's fine. Work. Seeing that you're calling from this phone and not your regular one, it seems like the situation is pretty dire, right? I don't have much time. Okay. Please tell me, sir. I need a new secure server. New server? Is something wrong? The server has been exposed due to an internal problem. Oh ho. Is that so? But the server's IP is moving in real time, so unless the problem is something very unique, even tracking it would be a problem, right? The forged voice spoke. The security of the server was thorough. It was impossible to track because the main computer, which was running the server, constantly changed the IP every hour. I will pay you. Well, if you want it that much, fine. However, if it's about securing a new server, you need to pay me at least a D-class core. Chun Woo-kyung expected those words. They had recently secured a core. I think I don't have to tell you about the advance payment. I know that. And? Wasn't it a single request? If not, we may have to rediscuss the price. The altered voice spoke. But Chun Woo-kyung didn't step back. I want you to deal with one person. This is surprising. I remember you said that you wouldn't ask for anything other than technical support. Tell me if it's possible or not. Where is the target? Jinan City. We have to deal with him right away. However, none of the people on my side can handle him. Seems like the annoying type. Chun Woo-kyung's eyes were serious the entire time. Rather than annoying, that man was dangerous enough to ruin everything he had built so far. Sir? Yes. I am listening. You need to tell us how dangerous the target is so that we can set a price. S. That is the highest class. Exactly. S-class level threat. It seems to have caused my dear customer a lot of trouble. If that's the case, the payment shall be an A-class core. At that, Chun Woo-kyung bit his lip. It was much higher than he had expected. An A-class core was very hard to obtain, even with considerable sacrifices. What would my dear customer like to do? Damn it. But he knew that it was worth it. I'll pay you right away. Okay. You are indeed the big guy. I knew that you had a refined A-class core, but it's still shocking. Enough. Can you do it right away? No problem. In fact, the gate warning went off in Jinan City, so I was planning on conducting an experiment to secure the core as well. Experiment? Yeah, something like that. Anyway, given that you are handing me an A-class core, we shall give dear customer an excellent service concerning the new server. Okay. I expected no less. Please send the information about the S-class target. Bye. Click. The phone call disconnected. Chun Woo-kyung, who had been leaning against the wall for a long time, pulled out a cigarette from his inner pocket and bit it with trembling hands. How did I end up like this? Damn it. to die in the hands of some old remnant. The following day, inside the Yongchen Group's main office in Jinan City, Chairman Chen Yujiang, who had undergone a splicing surgery, was wearing a cast as he spoke in an excited voice to Chen Youwen. It has only been a day, but the effect is amazing. The reason behind his excitement was simple. It was because of the result of uploading the CCTV footage into the server that Lim Kong gave yesterday. On the tablet PC placed on the desk, the figures of Chen Wuqian faction members that they had come into contact with were marked. In just one day, we have come into contact with 33 clans, 8 of which are high clans. It seems like we are off to a good start. Ancestor. Chen Youwen's appearance played a significant factor in it. He boldly revealed his identity through the video and caused confusion and division in the Chen Wuqian faction. The results were frighteningly quick, considering that the video was uploaded just 17 hours ago. But Chen Youwen wasn't satisfied. Lacking. From what he heard, the number of clans in the present age was around 700. Among them, 146 were currently in Chen Wuqiang's faction. But only 33 clans joined them, so less than a third. Still, with this momentum, it won't take long for our faction to gain the upper hand. Chen Yujiang viewed it positively. I didn't think that the presence of my ancestor would have such a huge impact. Chen Yujiang couldn't hide his satisfaction. However, Chen Youwen suddenly asked, with cold eyes, "Your faction? Huh? Oh. It seems like you are mistaking something. Do you think that I am giving you these instructions to highlight your faction?" Oops. Chen Yujiang couldn't hide his embarrassed face when he realized that he had made such a stupid mistake. That. Let me make it clear. There are no factions in the cult. Keep that in mind. I sincerely apologize for my foolish remark. Chen Yujiang responded with a nervous voice at Chen Youwen's warning. At the end of the day, he could feel his heart going smaller and smaller the more he tried to please Chen Youwen. You. Stop working on Murim for the time being and concentrate on the company management and expansion. That, answer me. Yes. Chen Yujiang had no choice. Fortunately, that would mean that Chen Youwen wouldn't have any operating rights on the company, so money wouldn't be lost. Chen Youwen was planning on dividing the current strength of Yongchen into 2 groups. One for managing the company, which Chairman Chen Yujiang would do, and the other would work on matters related to Murim under him. He thought that it would be more efficient as Chen Yujiang could provide more intricate details about the current world. Huan Miao. Yes. Huan Miao, who was watching from the side, answered. Chen Youwen handed him something. Ah. The USB that Chen Youwen asked for last night. A total of 320 places. What? The locations the server of Chen Wuqiang was running from. Huh? How did you? Huan Miao couldn't hide his surprise. He also had instructed his clan members to track it down. However, they said that it was impossible to find because of the frequent change of IP. Moreover, less than 30 minutes after the video was uploaded, the whole server was completely shut down. In the end, he almost gave up, but Chen Youwen had somehow managed to pick the locations of the computers running the server. The Lord is good at hacking? Huan Miao was shocked. Of course, it was Nano who did it. Nano could easily hack the IP movement, but since there were 320 computers running it, it was impossible to find the real place. I'll give you a week. Find out where he's based. Yes. Hang your in. Yes. As if waiting, she stood up and answered. How is the Jinan's Murim Association movement? As asked, I put a mark on all the clans that belong to the Murim Association in Jinan City. There has been no movement from the Jiggle Cultural Foundation side and the HB Huangbo clan. It seems they haven't figured it out yet. If there is any movement to hold meetings or to convene Murim members into meetings, take action right away. Yes. Smile. A smile crept on her lips. Chen Youan had ordered them to stop them before they could even meet. All this time, the Chen Yujiang faction had avoided friction with the Murim Association, so she was fond of this. Blade 6? Chen Youan had bigger interests. Although no one of the spies belonged to Blade 6, he had no intention of overlooking them as just a long-time enemy's descendant. I was going to report it, but last night, we found 6 Essence's men searching in Wangxiang Park. Searching? Yes. I don't know what they were looking for. They searched until 2 in the morning and then withdrew. She seemed upset about not being able to find anything. Chen Yujiang seemed gloomy at the order to stay away from Murim when Chen Youan called him. Chen Yujiang. Why yes. Did you say that not only the National Guards, but also the civil servants of Jinan City Hall are under your favor? Yes. In order to have firm roots in the city, Chen Yujiang had built a well-maintained relationship. Make an exception and receive a favor. Huh? Exception. Secure all CCTV footage in the park and everything in its vicinity for 48 hours. I see. Chen Yujiang's face brightened at the command. He was worried that he had been totally excluded from the work of Murim, but he wasn't. Huh. The executives were shocked at how quickly things were going. They didn't disclose it as they feared that Chen Yujiang would feel bad, but Chen Youan's actions were swift. When was the last time we had such a smooth meeting? Amazing. He is the one who had revived the cult in the past, and he's doing it again in our time. They thought that his martial arts were the best, but his ability to lead was also amazing. There was no comparison with Chen Yujiang. It was clear to them what Chen Youan meant when he said that their chairman lacked the qualities of a lord. Knock. Someone knocked on the door. The person who entered was by Mac Hean. The senior executives were puzzled because he wasn't supposed to show up. But the man bowed to Chen Youan. As ordered, we have completed the recruitment of members for the vice chairman. We have selected 50 people with great skills. Ah. They nodded their heads. They weren't even sure when his office people were recruited. Originally, it shouldn't exceed 10 people, but the fact that such a large number was selected meant that there was a mission. I am not sure how you will feel about them. But those chosen will consider it an honor. The highest honor a cult member could ever get. The seniors said that. When? DRRR. Huh? A phone vibrated. However, it wasn't just one, but all the phones within the room. The seniors looked at the screen on their phones. Their faces suddenly went stiff. Ugh. It was a test message from the HR team. A notification stating those with the best abilities in their departments had been transferred. Chapter 51. Illusion. Part 2. Director Huan is also in the team? Nod nod. Huan Mianlo nodded his head with a bitter face. Regardless of who they were, those with the best abilities in each department were selected. Since the ones recruited had to be above the supermaster level, it was no surprise that the ones directly under the chairman were selected. Why you traitors? The transfer was only possible with the consent of the parties involved. In a word, all these people moved to the vice chairman's office because they wanted it too. I would have accepted too. Without even asking. The other executives couldn't hide their disappointment. After all, they wouldn't even think twice if they were asked to work directly under Chen Ma. Chairman. They all looked at Chen Yujiang and sighed. From the moment Chen Youan appeared, Chen Yujiang's role turned into that of a mere secretary. Good job. Not at all. I have just executed the orders. Having heard the compliment, the executives were stunned by Mac Hean's appearance. It was regrettable that they couldn't notice such a person. At that moment, Chen Yujing opened his mouth. General Manager by Mac Hien. Yes, Chairman. We are going to hold off on your promotion for the time being. Sorry? By Mac Hien's eyes shook. It was only yesterday evening that he was told he would be promoted to managing director. And now, he was flustered at the sudden withholding of his position. It is unfortunate, but you are being demoted. At Chen Yujing's words, Bai Mac Hien seemed to be close to weeping. The executives frowned, thinking that this was their chairman's way of showing disdain for snatching away his members. "Why?" Chen Youan answered. "For the time being, I'll have you take over as assistant manager for my office." Bai Mac Hien's eyes widened. He was confused because he thought he was really being demoted, but when he heard that he was appointed as the assistant manager serving under Chen Youan, his face brightened in an instant. "Is this true? Why? You don't like it?" "Oh no. It is a lifetime honor to serve under you." Thud. Bai Mac Hien knelt and bowed to Chen Youan. To become assistant manager literally meant to play the role of being Chen Youan's right arm. Sure, it was a demotion, but in other words, he was going to be in the center of the new Sky Demon Order. Demotion, what shit? Damn it. The faces of some executives darkened. If the Sky Demon Order was going to be unified in the future, the one working as assistant manager for Chen Youan would shine brightly. Their eyes were dyed with envy. Now there is only one thing to do before heading back to Shenyang and bringing them. Numerous plans were being drawn inside Chen Youan's head. After subduing the three factions, Jinan City will serve as the foundation of the cult's resurrection. The final goal was to retake Guangzhou City, which had the 10,000 mountains. We need to take it from Ashan. Guangzhou City, where 10,000 mountains were, was said to be occupied by the Ashan group. He heard it was one of the three major factions in Murim. The factions within the Murim Association were the Forces of Justice Alliance, Blade 6 and Ashan Group. The chairman of Ashan Group was said to be the representative of the Murim Association. How dare they take what belongs to the cult? Chen Youan's second goal was to drive out everyone who targeted the Sky Demon Order and planned its downfall. Before that, it was necessary to have power on their side. However, the Sky Demon Order needed a very important thing. An achievement. Not just Murim, but everyone in this land seemed to think badly of the Black Sky Company and the Sky Demon Order. Which meant they should seize an opportunity to change the image. We need to instill awareness that the Sky Demon Order is necessary for everyone. It was essential to change the perception in order to win the support of the general public. Is there a good way? A solution then suddenly came to Chen Youan. A catastrophe of mankind. An enemy of mankind. Whether it was the Murim Association or the gatekeepers of the National Guards, an enemy made them work together. The gate. The disaster coming out of the gate had only one goal. To exterminate mankind. Digging into that gap may be a way to change the perception of the Sky Demon Order. It is a shame that they were ignoring such good chances by fighting with each other. The Yongchen group didn't register in Murim. They avoided participating in gate battles to avoid exposure. If they had endured the hardships for the last 27 years, the perception would have already changed. They lost the best advantage they had to fear. By Mac Hien. Yes. By Mac Hien, who was bowing, got up and answered. Prepare the car. Yes. At that, Chen Yujing asked with a puzzled expression. Going somewhere? Chen Youan got up from his seat and put on his coat. Which hospital did that wench say she was going to? Ah. The word wench made him understand. It was her. Ilchin General Hospital. The treatment I gave her should be adequate, so I should start using her slowly. Using her as a secretary would be appropriate. With those words, Chen Youan left the room. Chen Yujing was left muttering in confusion. Using an SS-class keeper as his secretary? Ilchin General Hospital was an affiliated group of Yongchun. In one of its wards, a woman in her late 20s, with brown hair and voluptuous breasts not fully covered by the patient's dress, was sitting on the bed. The woman with provocative eyes was an SS-class gatekeeper, Yu Sohua, the gravity witch. Her gaze was on the flower pots near the window of her room. I wish you a fast recovery. Commander-in-Chief of Jinan City Defense Force, General Zhou Yun. With you, citizens are guaranteed safety. Jinan Public Security Bureau Director, Lu Qingsun. The deputy mayor would like to express his gratitude for your service. They were all wishes for recovery. As an SS-class gatekeeper, she was loyal to the officials in Jinan. The director of the Public Security Bureau had visited her in person. I don't know anything anymore. The joint surgery on her right arm was successfully completed. It was a clean cut, so the regenerative treatment of the nerves went very smoothly. Ha! Her eyes looked at the room entrance. Two men in black suits were standing there. They were the security agents of Yongchun who were monitoring her. The National Defense's affiliated hospital isn't allowed. Instead, we will arrange for you to receive treatment at our hospital. However, please hold back your words to your visitors. Those were the words of someone called by Mak Hian. The words telling her not to reveal that she was now working under Chen Youwen. Around 1,000 nanobombs were injected into her body. How did it get to this? Even if she had SS-class superpowers, there was no way she could remove the nanobombs inside her blood vessels. She thought of running away. However, there were agents moving around the whole hospital. If I could, I'd kill them all. It wasn't an impossible task given her abilities, but if she started an assault, they would certainly contact him. That ruthless monster will detonate the nanobombs without mercy. I need to calm down. Unneeded excitement would only make her hurt herself. It was when she was trying to do that. Knock. With a knock, the door opened and a man in a black suit spoke. You have visitors. Let them in. 3 people entered. A woman in her late 20s, with short hair and red glasses, and 2 men in casual attire like college students. Yu Sohua looked at the woman in red glasses, who stood out. Thud. The door closed. One of the 2 men put his palm on the door. And the woman with the red glasses slowly opened her lips. The sound won't go out, so don't worry. I didn't think you would come. Haiyan. It seemed like they were familiar with each other. The woman in red glasses answered. You are as rude as ever. Are you really calling me that, despite your sarcastic way of talking? Whatever. I see it's true that an SS-class keeper was defeated? When did my rival become so weak? At her words, Yu Sohua laughed. Haiyan, the woman in red glasses, was an S-class keeper, who considered Yu Sohua her rival. Yu Sohua acknowledged her strength as well. Her ability was dangerous even against an SS class. We don't have time. Haiyan gestured to the man who had his hand on the door, while the other man pulled out a small terminal from the sleeve. Haiyan smiled. You owe me one now. We used a C-class core to get this. Okay. The man pressed the button on the terminal. Beep. The ultrasound of a dolphin echoed through the ears. After around 10 seconds of ringing, the man turned off the terminal. Done. Now that the nanobombs have been removed, let's move. That was the purpose of the terminal. The device sent out a code frequency which stopped the bombs in Yu Sohwa's body. Yu Sohwa's face brightened at those words. I will never forget this debt. Right. Now let's get out of here. If someone interferes, we'll destroy everything. Haha. You can't do that. Huh? Why? If we do so, he will be contacted. Are you talking about the Murim warrior who made you like this? Yes. I don't know how much of a monster he is, but don't you know my power? If he is a human. Fine. Let's get out. Ungrateful wench. As she got up, Haiyan grumbled. The man who had his palm on the door was sweating profusely. Bang! At that moment, the room opened and the agents in black suits entered. What are you people doing? State your identities? They were unable to open the door because of the man's abilities. Looking at them, Haiyan smiled and said, "Will you be fine staying by my side? What are you talking?" Hook. Shocked, one of the agents took a knife from his pocket and then stabbed the agent next to him. Puck. Qua. Why? The stabbed agent was shocked, but the other man took the knife out and then started to stab him again with delighted eyes. Puck. Puck. You monster. Die. Die. Thud. The stabbing stopped when the man died. The agent's eyes ceased to be dazed and then looked at his fellow agent lying dead on the floor. What the hell is this? You kill your own men with your hands. Haiyan said with a smile. Yuk. The agent kept staring at the blood-soaked knife in his hand when Haiyan said, You killed a comrade, what are you going to do now? Having heard that, the agent's eyes lost focus again. He grabbed the knife and placed it near his neck. Puck. And fell to the floor. Seeing that, Yusawa said, Still a bad move. They made you like this, did you think I will let them live? Stop. There are civilians in the hallways, so don't do such things. Pretending to be a nice girl. They came out of the room. There were civilians, patients, and other agents too. Kayak. Haiyan shouted. Expectedly, people's eyes turned to her. Clapping her hands, Haiyan said, Clap. Time to sleep. Thud. 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 At that moment, everyone fell to the ground. They fell asleep. One could tell from the snoring sounds coming from them. K. Ready? A shocking ability. Among the S-class keepers, people with outstanding abilities were sometimes given titles. And this woman's title was the illusionist. At first glance, it seemed like a psychic ability unsuited for combat. However, it was a hypnotic ability, classified as dangerous one by the State Council. Nice. They hurried to the elevator in the block's lobby. Because Haiyan had hypnotic abilities, she was thinking of walking out proudly. However, when they turned the corner and reached the lobby, they heard the sound of the elevator stopping. Ding! It looked like someone was stopping on this floor. When the elevator's door opened, Yusawa's expression hardened. Where do you think you are going? She could feel her heart drop. Why at a time like this? The ones who got off the elevator were Chen Youan, Bai Makian, and a few hospital security guards. Chen Youan looked at the fallen people in the hallway and asked in a cold voice, Maybe I should tighten the leash a little more? Shoo! Chen Youan raised his finger. It looked like he was going to detonate a bomb. Yusawa bit her lip. It doesn't work anymore. Snap. Fut. Quiet. Her left hand turned dark with a loud bang. Haiyan looked at Yusawa in perplexion, unable to understand what had just happened. I disarmed the nanobombs, so how? Chapter 52. Illusion. Part 3. Haiyan used all her connections to get the terminal containing the code to disarm the nanobombs through the black market. It was a genuine handset from MS, which was obtained by giving them a C-class core. That's why she was puzzled at the nanobomb explosion. Did they give me a defective product? Yuk. Seeing Yusawa writhe in pain, Chen Youan was satisfied. The terminal wasn't defective or fake. It did genuinely contain the code to disarm the bombs. Under normal circumstances, the nanobombs would have been disarmed and would later come out through urine. This is Nano's effect. Right. If only Nano wasn't there, everything would have worked out according to their plan. Nano, who has a much more advanced technology regarding nanotech, conducted some modifications on the bombs that Chen Youwen took out from Baek Jongso's body. Unlike the original ones, which, in terms of manipulation, could only be disarmed, the new ones could move more freely. Damn the black market. Unaware of that, Haiyan grumbled. Contrary to her intelligent-looking appearance, she was a pretty rough woman. Fine. Doesn't matter. What do you mean it doesn't matter? I think it went well. Now I will deal with him and prove that I am far superior to an SS-class gatekeeper. Bai Mak-hien was taken aback by her bold words. Vice Chairman. May I? SSSHHH. Bai Mak-hien's hand headed towards the sword. Since Yu So-hwa was bound by the nanobombs, Chen Youwen granted his request. Take care of it. Yes. Fat. As if waiting, Bai Mak-hien went for her at once. As a master of illusion swordsmanship, his swordsmanship changed right away. His aim was a single fatal attack. Go. Hoo-ho. Dare attack me? Stop. At that moment, Bai Mak-hien, who was unfolding his technique, forcibly stopped. Cough. He was flustered to see his body stop. But then his body knelt down, and he banged his head on the ground. I have been deceived by the enemy and almost attacked the vice chairman. Thud. Chen Youwen's eyebrows rose at the sight. Bai Mak-hien apologized over and over to Haiyan as if she was him. Licking her lips, she pointed to Chen Youwen. Now we need to deal with the enemy. At her words, Bai Mak-hien got up from the ground and went for Chen Youwen. How dare you deceive me? I will cut off this woman's head. Conversely, he saw Chen Youwen as Haiyan. She spoke with a delighted tone at the sight. Huh. Let the allies fight. It was then. Chen Youwen held out his hand towards Bai Mak-hien and moved it down lightly. Thud. Bai Mak-hien forcibly knelt down. Kwawak. Bai Mak-hien remained stuck to the floor. Seeing that, Haiyan frowned while mumbling. Shit. She thought that she would be able to gain some time, but she was overpowered. Yu So-hwa, who was groaning in pain, opened her mouth. You can't subdue him like that. Huh. I think so. But it doesn't matter. The stronger my enemy, the better. It is fortunate that I came. Wink. Haiyan winked at her and looked at Chen Youwen. Their eyes met. However, there was a strange light shining in her pupils. Hoo-hoo. It is over. She confidently pointed to the sword that Bai Mak-hien dropped. That nice thing there. Pick it up. Pick it up. She said it in a slightly stronger way. Chen Youwen reached out to the floor and retrieved the sword. For a second, she wondered if her ability didn't work, but it was a good idea to repeat the order again. Now. Stab yourself with that. Chen Youwen raised the sword. The guards around him panicked and tried to stop him. Stab yourself already. Haiyan shouted. What are you talking about? Huh? Swish. Puck. Quackok. Thrown by Chen Youwen, Bai Mak-hien's sword pierced her thigh. As it was unexpected, she grabbed her thigh, screaming in pain. Damn it. One of the keepers standing beside her rushed towards Chen Youwen. Sharp steel spikes sprouted from his body. It seemed like this person had the ability to protect his body with steel thorns and even use them to attack. Hump. Having narrowed the distance, the keeper leaned forward. The steel thorns were fired from his body like missiles and aimed for Chen Youwen and the guards. However, his opponent wasn't weak. Chen Yuan waved his hand, and all the projectiles flying towards him pierced the wall next to him. Quack! The keeper tried to regenerate the thorns once again. Chen Yuan, who saw that, lowered his hand. What now? Chuck! The sound of a slash echoed as the keeper's body got split in half. Even the thorns on his body were cut off. The other keeper reached out to Chen Yuan when he saw his colleague get killed. You bastard! Whoa! Yuk! What is this? The guards were pushed away as invisible walls appeared around Chen Yuan. The ability of this keeper was to create a thin wall of air. Don't try to do anything. The ability could be used to exert pressure on people. The invisible wall could be decreased in size. And if that was done, the opponent would be crushed. Chen Yuan, who was inside, mumbled something which wasn't heard. The ability would block sound, so no one could hear him. Die. The wall was rapidly compressed. It was then. Slash. Chen Yuan raised his hand and cut the wall. Like a broken window, the wall made of air shattered. This is like a kid's play toy. What is? The keeper couldn't hide his shock. He has never seen someone break out of his ability before. Let's end this. Chen Yuan waved his hand, making the head of the keeper bend sideways. Crack! Quack! Thud! The keeper silently died. Yu So-wa sighed. She actually had high expectations regarding Haiyan's ability. The ability to hypnotize any living being. Unless it was a special alpha-type entity, it worked on everything else. That monster. Yu So-wa realized the absurdity of Chen Yuan's existence. How the hell is he not caught? Haiyan was still not able to believe her eyes. It was the first time that such a thing had happened. She was able to hypnotize every single Miram warrior she had met before. Why? Why? Why isn't it working? Who? Her eyes were still glowing. She was still trying to use her ability on Chen Yuan, to hypnotize him, to control him. However, nothing worked. 78 times. At Chen Yuan's words, Haiyan's eyes fluttered. It was an exact count. You tried so hard to get into my senses. Ha! Haiyan was extremely shocked. The man knew exactly what she was trying to do. Her ability allowed her to control the senses of the human body in order to handle them freely. Enough, we have played a lot. Chen Yuan walked towards her, making Haiyan cry out. Stop. That doesn't work on me. Huh. Ugh. And your subordinates? At her words, Chen Yuan turned around to see the 4 guards aiming their weapons at their own necks. Haiyan warned him. If you move even one step or try to harm us, you will see them take their own lives. Gulp. The guards were pushing the weapons closer to the necks. He didn't think that the woman would use her ability in such a way. Someday I will repay this disgrace you have shown me. Running away hurt Haiyan's pride. However, having made a firm resolve within her, she dragged her leg and pulled Yu So-wa. Come up. Let's get out of here, when Chen Yuan said. Throw away the weapons. Clank. At Chen Yuan's command, the hypnotized guards threw away their weapons on the floor. Having witnessed the ridiculous scene, Haiyan's eyes went wide. What is this? The men were still hypnotized. However, they were taking someone else's command nonetheless. No. Has to be a coincidence. Eik. It doesn't matter if you don't have weapons. Choke yourselves. She screamed as if she was possessed by an evil spirit. The guards grabbed their throats. And Chen Yuan spoke again. Don't move. Still. At his firm command, the guard stopped moving. Haiyan couldn't understand what was happening. How did this happen? Such a waste. The power of Sky Demon energy is far more superior than that ability of yours. Obviously, Haiyan's ability was strong. However, there was no way to make a human go against the demonic energy which came from the corrupted spirit beast. Not knowing that, she was flustered. Sky Demon energy, what is, Shu? In an instant, Chen Yuan's image blurred and reappeared in front of the woman. Chen Yuan grabbed her by the neck. Catch. Quack. I am sick of playing anymore. Quack. Haiyan's face turned red. She felt like she was going to die from suffocation at any moment. It had been a long time since her prideful heart was severely broken. The SS class keeper Yu So-wa knew what that felt like. However, she didn't have the courage to interfere. Am I going to die like this? If it wasn't for her. Haiyan's eyes looked at Yu So-wa with resentful eyes. She then came up with a good way to get out of the situation. Me. Save you? Chen Yuan's grip on her neck loosened. Haiyan, who was barely able to take a breath, said. Ha, ha. I, too, am useful to you, like you So-wa. Useful. Chen Yuan looked like he was thinking for a moment. It worked. Thinking that she had a chance, she let out a rough breath and then spoke with a seductive look. I will dedicate both my body and mind to you. Body and mind? Yes, if you don't believe me, you can put nanobombs in my body. No. She was shaking her head. She had to live her life, even if it meant to live trembling as a slave of the monstrous man. Ridiculous. I am not going to die here. She didn't want to die. Rather, she decided that she would somehow survive, improve her abilities, and then take down the monster. Even if it is impossible for that bitch, I can. Unlike Yu So-wa, she was confident in handling men. Looking at Chen Yuan, she thought that she had a chance. She knelt down and said, You know, I am hotter in bed than you, so HW, how arrogant. Huh? Haiyan, who was trying her best to seduce him, went stiff. Chen Yuan looked at her with contemptuous cold eyes. I have changed my mind. What do you mean? People who have a 4-year-old brain are worthless. Wait a minute, why is that bitch? Grab. Quack. Don't talk nonsense, and just die. Crack. Quack. As she struggled, Chen Yuan mercilessly broke her neck. With a whelp, the woman died. Hack. Chen Yuan threw her body to the floor. Her initial plan of highlighting the usefulness of her ability was good. But she failed to realize that Chen Yuan didn't like women who tried to tempt others. Yu So-wa covered her mouth, trying not to scream at what she had just witnessed. Chen Yuan turned to her and said, Are your attempts to run away now over?